Is that a nice sound?
We are live. Wait, am I using the right mic? I think so.
I think so.
I think so. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Is
Yeah.
it like from this mic? Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Technology is
beautiful-
working.
Yeah. Technology.
Technology.
We are live on Instagram.
Welcome
What's
to the
up, everyone?
Technology Show. Technology Command. I need to set the
Hello.
artwork for the live stream on the YouTube.
Cool. My light is way too white.
Is your white balance off?
Yeah. No, I changed the light bulb. Yeah. I don't have like expensive soft. I have a softbox, but it's not like an expensive light
No,
or
I've got-
anything with high CRI. You know the CRI index?
No.
So all lights have a CRI index, and if I'm not wrong, this is like from old time when I was still busy with filming and etc. A high CRI index, essentially like 100 is basically the color quality of the sun, like the render that you get out of it. The quality that the sun has is 100, and the basic lights that you have, like the basic LEDs and stuff, they are probably like under 70 or even worse. So that's why when you film yourself or take a photo with a camera, your skin looks like pale or purple or whatever, like green. It's because the light quality is so bad. So what you want to buy a light with a high quality. Is it CRI? I might even like not be sure about this.
CRI does sound a bit weird because I know about the color temperature, you know.
Yeah, that's different. So the color temperature is completely different. CRI. What is? Yeah, it is CRI. So CRI rating from 0 to 100 with higher values indicating better color rendering capabilities.
Wow.
So 70 to 80 is typically sufficient. Google says, no, you need something better than 90, like even probably better than 92 or so.
Wow,
anyway, so I have a bad CRI color, and the better ones are very expensive. Like the sky panels from Ari, they cost like a light cost like 6K, just one single light.
Yeah, but you could get, I mean, just for YouTube, you could get a pretty good light for like a fraction of that cost. Like I've got two lights. I've got like quite a big, I mean, it's not one of those boxes by any stretch, but it's like I don't know, it's probably about, what do you say, 9 inches, 7 inches, something like that. Across and then this one's like a tiny one. This is just a little thing like that. But I got two.
Yeah,
they're good.
Yeah, but those are small, and the bigger the better. Speaking of light source size and also camera sensor size. But yeah, because like the bigger source is softer, like on your skin. And
yeah. I want to get one of those light bars, I think, and I want to put it behind me there just for a bit of, don't know, texture.
This is what I did. So you see also this way. You see how the light, I can turn it on and off with my phone, and also I can change the color temperature. This is
what?
What are
you changing?
That light, the light inside of.
Okay, yeah.
You see how the color temperature changes?
You need to be warmer.
Yeah, I like it a bit warmer, but the one I have in front of me is colder. So if I make my background too warm, the camera tries to balance it, so I get too blue.
You're very blue right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm basically Avatar. And then you see those like small lights there? They cost me $15 off of Amazon.
That's right.
Yeah, and I can look, I can change their like intensity, and I can do a bunch of like weird shit with it. Like I can change. It's a light strip. Anyway, yeah. I think I did change it, and now I don't know how to fix it. I have a show in my background. Yeah. Static. I needed static. I don't want a gradient or whatever.
You probably got it now.
Yeah, I literally did.
Okay. Let me quit some stuff so I'm not all jittery.
Fixed it.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
should we start?
Should we start? I was going to ask, do you have any interesting or fun or, news to share with the world today?
Wait a second. I was trying to read the comments. I'm sorry. So, what you were saying?
Any news to share with the world today?
Anything news? No, not really. Been working on a huge project. It's live, but I prefer to share it like from the official channels in a few days when we have a few more renders out. And yeah, been doing some really cool stuff.
Oh, exciting. I'm surprised this is not an official channel. I thought this would be an official channel. This would be the official channel. Straight from the horse's mouth,
I have things to show, by the way, just to say, but not regarding like the agency stuff. Yeah, for the agency, we're like building our whole new website from scratch with our branding. We are approaching it from like a 3D perspective, so we are like using Blender to do our branding essentially.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I'm trying to move my website because I want to change the language around what we do, because I love building apps. I really prefer it, I think, to building websites. I used to be like, nah, I love building with my brain, it will change every which way, every other month sort of thing. But right now, I'm really loving building apps, and I'm really enjoying. And AI's got a part in that, but like I'm trying to build this, like, we'll get into it later, but just trying to build a really robust coding system so that I can work efficiently on my own. So sneak peek, like I signed up to CodeRabbit to do code reviews for me, really leaning into the fact that I don't have someone to like check my blind spots and things like that. So yeah, I'm sort of investing in a lot of tooling so that I can work more efficiently as a solo dev using AI. So long story short is that I need my company website to kind of reflect the sort of focus on building apps, and I want to take it off WordPress, because while WordPress is free, hosting on Hostinger is still something like 120 quid a year, something like that. That's a lot.
Okay.
Maybe not as much as that. Maybe that's an exaggeration. But either way, I can host it. I can get it on Vercel and host it for free.
Yeah, or Netlify. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm using Next.js and I'm using Payload CMS to run the website. So yeah, it's a lot easier for me to update if I'm just AI coding it. I can send Claude Code for the web off to do updates and things like this. Like, just makes sense as I'm a solo person really leaning into that makes it easier for me.
We also got asked in the comments what we will be talking about. We'll announce that soon. We have like a bunch of things: Webflow AppGen, AI, GPT 5.1. We'll talk about that. But what you started with, changing direction and stuff, I'm interested in that conversation, at least for a bit. We are rebuilding our agency website, and one of the verticals that we are adding verticals, meaning that which type of clients we're trying to serve. For example, middle or big big size companies, startups, I don't know, like companies like this. We have a bunch of like verticals. What we are adding, which we didn't have like last year, is AI driven companies, because it seems like there are a bunch of them and there is a bunch of like money going
For
into
now.
these AI companies. This is what I want to get into. So I want to do this, but at the same time, I'm like,
hang on.
yeah, exactly. Kind of like, okay, if it pops and if there is no money in it, we can just turn it off, or we can
there's no
still
harm.
serve the ones that survive, because there will be some surviving ones. So a project we've been working on for the past month or so, and we've been like tirelessly working on, is for an AI company. So this company, I don't want to reveal too much just yet. I will have a full video about it. Is taking like AI and doing something very specific with it. And when you do something like this, you need like very specific UX and UI. And we've been doing the most of like the UI UX designs, and also like the assets, like all the 3D and like visualizing things and making things beautiful and explaining things. We've been doing all of these things. And that got us thinking, like, why not serve this industry even more? Since we now have like experience doing these kind of things, we've built like some systems around it and things like that. So we will add that vertical, but at the same time, what if it's gone tomorrow?
It's no big deal for you. It's just something you offer. I mean, I could talk about this quite a lot, but it was something that really hammered home, right? Because in amongst all of this AI, I mean, it's whilst it may or may not, whether it pops or not, I think it's completely going to reshape everything, right? And certainly as a developer, it's going to reshape my job as a developer, or at least there's, I'm just spitballing now, but I think it's definitely opened up a new segment to app development, right? Which is this heavy prototyping phase, which doesn't need handwritten hardcore code, but is, functional and, useful, right? I think there's going to be a whole new vertical. I'm kind of thinking about this on the spot, which is quite useful. But saying that, in amongst all this, like, oh shit, what's going to happen, and this and that and the other, I was like, lost, right, for lack of a better word. And I was like, well, what can I do? What resources do I have that are available to me? And how can I move forward in this unknown new landscape? And on one aspect, I was like, let's retrain, let's focus on the AI stuff, learn all that. On the other stuff, it's exactly this. It's like shaping the company and knowing which vertical we go for and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, who have I got available to me? And I landed on a specific vertical because I have lots of friends and contacts in that vertical. And I just sent them all a text and I sent them all emails and whatever, saying, would you mind having a conversation with me? Not really knowing what was going to result in the conversation. But through having really deep, luckily I know these people well, right? But through having really deep conversations about their industry, what started to take shape was a really solid idea of some of the challenges that they were facing. And that was really, it was an eye-opener, because I've always known this. I mean, Rand's always talked about it, the future. These are all YouTube channels that we've had various affiliations with and stuff. They've always talked about like niching, the riches are in the niches and all this kind of stuff. And I sort of finally started to see it. And so that's kind of where I've been focusing my attention on. I've actually got some pretty good movement in that space. I don't know whether I want to transfer that to my laptop, my website. But saying all that, one thing I've really seen is I watched a video on I watched this travel YouTuber called Simon something or other, and he goes to this billionaire hotel. And it's like $8,500 a night for this hotel. And he comes away and it's, for us, very lackluster experience. Like, it's fine. I would say the staff are a little bit too casual for $8.5 grand a night. I would say that the services were okay, very nice. Don't get me wrong, but was it worth $8.5 grand? And you see that in the comment section. You see a lot of people being like, "That is not worth $8.5 grand. That's not worth $8.5 grand." And it sort of taught me that if not everything is made for you, like you have very, very, very different priorities to another person. What that $8.5 grand is buying you is not a fancy service, which is what we look for when it comes to holidays and things like that. If we're going to be paying a lot of money, we expect a lot. Yeah. What that $8.5 grand is you're paying for is privacy. You've got Kim Kardashian going to that hotel. You've got billionaires finding what's it called when you're alone and sacred or serenity.
Okay,
you're buying that privacy. That's what they're paying for. That price tag, keeps the riffraff like us out of that hotel. So their priorities are very, very different. Tying that all into what we're chatting about is that, like, not everything needs to be for everyone. And if you don't see or understand the value, on the one hand, as someone potentially offering that service, there's no reason to take any offense to that. It's like, well, it's not for you. But to be able to do that, you need to really, really understand the people you're trying to serve and their pain points and all that lot. And this is really solidified in the last week. So it's funny that you mention it, because I literally watched the video like 3 days ago. And I was like, I'm kind of really understanding that it's fine for so many people to not want what you offer, because it's not for them. They just, what's the analogy? There's something about, like, you're looking for something completely different, or you're offering something, you're not offering what. Yeah, there's something in that. I hope that makes sense.
It does. And we'll try it and we'll see.
You need to brighten yourself up because you're in the shadows, or there's something shadowing over your. Yeah, it's better. You're a bit blue, but you're not in the shadows. Oh God.
The problem is, okay, let me fix it.
Guys,
how I'm going. Oh, it's hot.
Let me know in the comments if any of that made sense, and if you have any comments about it, because might be something to consider, because we can't be everything for everyone, and it's okay that people don't want us because different people are looking for different things.
I'm literally unscrewing my light.
Oh my God.
And it's too hot.
Oh my God. What is it, not LED?
Yes.
Jesus, that's a big mother.
Yeah. This is really good, but the white balance sucks. And now I'm too yellow, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's okay that you're I think you'll find that you're yellow, but it's just that hot spot on your foot. That's better. That's all right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Probably better than me now.
That's better.
Me to shame. Right. Should we do the intro? I've had my rant. I've had my rant today. Actually, we've got tons of rants, so that's not my last rant. I'm allowed more.
Yeah, we do have like a bunch of stuff.
Always firing, always thinking, always.
Yeah, we're just having this because we had this, before even going live. Hello, Chris. Hello, Saya. I see you in the comments. All right. So this week we have. Okay, you're ready? I'm not ready.
I'm always ready, mate. I'm always ready.
Okay. Born ready. This week, Webflow launched their AppGen, a tool that allows you to create any app in Webflow without writing any line of code. Just by prompting to AI, you create any apps. This is revolutionary. We'll show you a few examples in a second. OpenAI released ChatGPT 5.1, and Anthropic is saying that MCP sucks. That's the creator of MCP, literally. So that is going to be interesting. This and much more in this week's AI. In this week's Command AI. I completely messed it up. I'm Kavarza.
And I'm Sam, and this is a week in AI, design, and dev.
Yeah, I completely miss. All right, so we have Tim. Hello, Tim. Cool that you're here. We are going to
How does it
show your
sound, Tim? How
project.
does this week's episode sound to you, Tim? Let us know.
Well, we're going to show his project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to show a project he's been working on using the Webflow AppGen. But
Also,
first,
if you're double
yeah,
screening, if anything pops up, because what I've found is that we'll get off and there'll be something like happened whilst we're online. So if something comes up, let us know and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Live.
So, but first, we have the website of the week, which I want to grab the link again, and we'll get into that first. All right, I'll share my screen and we'll go in a second. So we need to remove your screen, sir, first. All right, so for the site of the week, we have a super cool 3D website, and it's very minimal. That's what I love about it, and here it is. So this is We Create Feelings by
cool.
Mantis. Is it a studio? I think it's a studio from two people. We'll check out their about page. So they have this really nice intro, and you see this is like 3D, and you see kind of like the veins, and they're not the veins, but it's a very cool effect. And did you see how it loaded? We'll see more of that. We Create Feelings. So this is about storytelling. And as I scroll, you see how it's all 3D, and I really love it. Great design doesn't just guide behavior. Then you go and scroll. It speaks directly to the nervous system.
So it's not veins, it's your nervous system. There you go.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's kind of like starting with a touch, like that's really nice. And you see it's kind of like procedurally being made and drawn, even though it's 3D. That's really cool about it. We activate nerves. This is a nice tagline for your agency website. Like, you have a client who like will talk to the nerves of your clients. So yeah, and here they show up like these really nice visuals. I really love them. The minimalism in here is
like
really beautiful. Yeah, it is. And do you see like the details, the typography here, and the color green? It's just there and it's popping, but it's not too much. Same here. And then here they have New York City, and then they have the weather. We are adding this to my agency website. We are going to add this. I'm not sure if we will add it in the nav or in the footer, but we had this idea to add it. A bunch of agencies do this, and this is just so cool. Just like nice little details. And as we scroll, look how the next thing pops. And yeah, I absolutely love it. We stimulate memory, just like very short taglines. And then, I mean, when you have Adidas and Google and Microsoft and Meta in your portfolio, you don't need to say too much, except they have also awards, not just that. And yeah, this is super cool. And this one, look how nice this is coming together, like the effect that they are creating here. And I was just thinking about how I would recreate something like this, because
it's always really difficult when you've got like height, right? Animating height in.
Yeah, well, you can animate height to auto, right? What I don't know how I would approach, and this is what is interesting me here, is you see how these are dented, right? And if I click on development, it's going to come up and it's going to shift the rest as well, because like as they come out, well, this one doesn't, well, if I click, no, this one, no, they have to be, yeah, like this. You see how they come up, and then as they come up, they shift the rest as well. So it's kind of like the elements are being triggered to be full width of what they
Mm.
can be
At
once
like
they pass
50%.
the threshold.
Mm.
So maybe
Mm.
is this like a GSAP observer? I'm not sure. Ah, they are using GSAP and Versal and obviously 3JS for the background. We'll talk about that. So I don't know. This got me thinking I should recreate this as a component in Webflow.
It's nice. I love just the gray and green is such a classic. Well,
Yeah,
anything like
so
orange
nice.
and green, gray and green. Like when you've got this, it really makes an impact when you see that green. I'd like to
Yeah.
see more of it in some ways, but like they've when you see the green as
Yeah,
it draws your attention,
it does. And this footer is also pretty nice.
What's all
You
that
could
stuff
just
where your
eat
mouse
you
is?
up. Yeah, and the hover interactions and this hand, this is pretty cool. By the way, am I lagging sometimes? Like, if I'm lagging, I should mention this. My M1 Pro, I can hear its fan.
Oh gosh.
This doesn't happen a lot. So I
Are
said the
you
project
are
is
you
really
plugged in?
minimal.
Are you
Well,
plugged in? You,
yeah,
you
I'm plugged
expect
in
too
with a.
much of your little Mac. You expect too much of it after that 50 watt charger.
Yeah, so let's actually check this for a second. So I do system information, and then here we should see the power. I should see how much, and this is kind of related to the website as well. I want to see if this website is causing more power to be drawn because, I mean, obviously we're live streaming, right? But where do I see?
Scroll down to the bottom. So it should be there. I think it's there where before it starts to indent. The last one.
52.
Yeah.
So the watt, it's 52, and I'm pretty sure this thing cannot like properly get 52 watt to my laptop, and that's probably why I'm lagging. So I have to close up the project after we're done with it, but we're not done yet. A few other things. They have an about us, and the about us kind of changes the mood a bit.
Yeah, it
It
does, doesn't
becomes
it?
all colorful, and I'm honestly not a big fan of. What are these creatures called?
Praying mantis.
What?
Praying mantis.
Praying mantis.
I think I'm not sure what mantis.
Well, I like. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
I like.
yeah.
I
That's the
like
orchid
them,
one.
but I don't like the art style, and I don't like the.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel
I think
like
these are real photos,
it could be. You know what? It
because
sucks.
I think this is called like an orchid mantis or something.
Okay.
Because it looks like a flower.
Isn't it sad that we are asking this question?
I know, it's crazy, isn't
It is quite sad. Like, because of AI, we can't appreciate the photography and art anymore for real. We can't. Yeah.
Leonor says that he likes the color, or she. I'm not sure whether you're a boy or girl, but
you do. Well, I do like the color. I'm not. I don't have a problem with the color, especially this one. This is really nice. But I feel like going from that gray, grainy, and green to this. I like the idea of contrast, and I do also see this logo and kind of like the claws, or like what are these called, like the hands. I see the resemblance, but I don't know. I feel like what they had on the homepage is so special and beautiful. Yeah. So
yeah, the mood change is a bit jarring.
Yeah, but it's probably just me. And when I say when I click on contact, this thing pops up and it says
hello.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. But yeah, back to the website, we see how it is. And this 3D, I'm not sure. Do you think this is probably a 3D model made in Blender, right? And then pulled into 3JS.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
But for people who are interested, I'm just learning this. But if you go to 3js.org, so this is 3js.org. And here you can go to editor, and in the editor you can actually upload a 3D file. What is the format called? There are like a bunch of formats that are supported, and then you can play around with it right here, and then obviously you can take it from there to build something like what we are showing. But there is a lot more that goes into it, things like properly optimizing. And this site, even though I thought it is optimized, it's causing my fans to run. So yeah, but still pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So anything to add here?
No, just it's a very cool site. What's the website?
The website, we'll link it below, but it's mantis.works. And I kind of want to check one more thing on this website, like going to, okay, so there it's a one-pager essentially. Like, well, there have the contact, but here are the services. These are all links to the other sections of the website. Yeah.
Presumably it's just a normal website with a canvas layer behind, this fixed position behind it.
Probably, but you have to like observe the scroll so you can, animate it. And then if we look at the code, yeah. So these are the sections, but I'm not sure where the canvas layer is. Maybe here. No, this is not. It's probably easier to find it here. Not sure where it is, but yeah, it is definitely a canvas, and yeah, and it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
They won awards, and I think they deserve it.
Oh, they won awards for it. When was this? When would they release this?
I think it was last week. I saw it on awards, and I was like, "Damn, I like the vibe. I like the uniqueness." And something special about this website, like if you see it again, you will remember it. Or like if you see any like resemblance of this somewhere, you will get it, because it's unique. It's very unique, and that's what I like about it.
So presumably they are a kind of design UX studio then.
Yeah. They showed in their services what they do. They do a bunch of things like 3D stuff. You see, experimental, digital, 3D branding, identity. They do also development.
I'm a sucker for like a concept, like, because really the website is pretty straightforward. Like it's just a canvas, normal website, scroll down, one pager that kind of moves this person. But this concept of nervous system touching and feelings and whatever, I'm always a sucker for like how it translates, how that concept, that idea translates to the rest of the website. It's really, really cool. And
this is my favorite part too. Yeah. How would you do it? How would you come up with a concept, and then how do you try to translate or like expand? In this case, you expand it to do more.
Honestly, I think it's like a brainstorm exercise, creating like a mind map, trying to get to the core of what it is that you do, like, and there's probably a lot of wordplay that comes along with that, like engage, touch, feel, emotion, and trying to, and then through kind of what do you call it? Just sort of a process of elimination, just coming with some values or some words that you feel quite positive about, and then trying to establish a relationship between them, like maybe emotion and touch, like touch points and engagement are all possible with the nervous system or something like that. A lot of it is just like pulling your finger out and just like making up something, but that's creativity. That's exactly what creativity is, right? Is just coming up with those correlations that sort of tell that story. And then it's a design exercise. Then we like this idea of a nervous system. Maybe there could be like some veins around the site, or like lines. Everything's made up with lines, you know. And they've not overdone it, you know. It's just they've hit on that concept and haven't just gone really super heavy with it. They've just it just is what it is, you know.
So they reduced it to one thing, and I like this. So OpenAI, which we talk about a lot on the show, they had this. They have this like very generic logo, and they came up with this branding, and they made a video about it with dots. So it's essentially dots that come together and create shapes and create things. And they even have this in Atlas in their browser, where there are dots that are going around. So I'm fascinated by this. Like, and again, this is like something that you do in branding. And when I mentioned that I'm doing a rebranding for our own website, doing it in 3D in Blender, we're trying to come up with ways that we want to look at things. So one idea that we are working on, and it's not final, is blooming. So that we help businesses to bloom. So again, wordplay. So you go from blooming to flower, but we want to make it 3D. And if you make a flower and make it 3D, it's a very feminine thing, and that is nice. But we also want to be kind of like go in a techie and more sharp way at it, which is not feminine if you do it sharp. So we're trying to balance things out by imagining how can we make a flower that is 3D that is also not AI looking, because we are going to make it in Blender if we go with that direction. And then we are trying to basically come up with these like concepts, and then these concepts kind of bloom into bigger things. And then one thing that we are working on is like having the flower to be kind of like feminine in character and soft and beautiful, but then kind of like in the shapes that we are using in the website, to use like sharp corners and a really red, like extreme red that I have in my branding. So a bunch of things like this. And then obviously we can animate it, we can make it bloom and things like this. That's how I'm looking at it. And for clients, we try to find like what is that kind of like a memorable part of their brand or their experience, and kind of take that and bring it down to something very fundamental, very simple. It has to be simple, because when it's simple, then you can scale it back up to do things with it. Like the dots in OpenAI, if it was something complex, you couldn't do much with it. But because it's a dot, you can make things with the dot. And here with the nervous system, they kind of connected it to feeling and making memories, and kind of making the design pop without saying, maybe make the design pop. We are saying like, we will touch the soul of your, well, they haven't said this, but that could be a line that they could say.
Yeah, it's fun. Again, if you can. And the only difficult aspect of it all is like, there's always going to be this difficult balance between we want to resonate with our target audience. We want to make sure that we say the right things and we use the right colors that really, resonate. Resonate's the only word I can think of right there. But at the same time, you still want to, stand out. You still want to put your personality across. So there's this middle point, I think, that's very, very difficult to reach, where you're considerate of your client, your target market, but also expressive enough where you're not just you know what I mean? Like it's very, very difficult to find that. And if you can do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, cool. All that went into branding conversation and I like that. Cool. Should we move on to the next one?
Webflow AppGen.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's
see. I haven't got this, unfortunately. I haven't got it.
You haven't got this. Oh.
They said I have. I got an email just before this show, actually, and I haven't checked. Maybe I can check now, but yeah, I was very confused. I was even recording a video, and that little button didn't show up. Okay, now at least I've got a notification. I didn't get a notification. I got a notification, but it wasn't in the notification list. So okay, it's not there. So yeah, share your screen.
Yeah, sure, in a second. So the most Webflow, no, not the most Webflow, the most okay, I'm gonna redo this. The most powerful Webflow feature is out, and that is AppGen, a feature that allows you to prompt your way into creating any app you want. Things that were simply not possible before in Webflow, or needed, a developer to do the whole development for you. Now, any designer can just prompt and create a full-on, full-fledged app. And here you see the environment. So I've been trying to create a dashboard for my clients so they can log in and add tasks and see their project and the status of their project, and add a bunch of things like this. This is very early. I just did a few prompts. I haven't been really working on this. It's been like 20 minutes, but even with that time, I got it kind of like a login page. And after the login page, I know this is quite ugly, but we'll get into this. You have this.
I like it. There's something I like.
You like it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, the red is. I'll show you where the red is coming from. But the idea is that here I can add new tasks, and I can add an image. But a bunch of things are not working, which is a given. I'll show you a better example of what I have. But yeah, this is the UI. And when you create something, let's go step by step. So
yeah,
you go to your Webflow project.
Okay.
This is my Webflow project. This is my...
Whether it's a full web... So this is obviously a Webflow, in production Webflow project.
Yes.
But it can be an empty project.
Exactly. You can start from scratch. The reason I didn't start from scratch and I did it on my agency website is because I have a bunch of CMS and component and variables. So if I go to my styles, I have some colors. This is old. That's why it's not really sophisticated. But I have some stuff. I have some components, and I have some CMS items. Why does this matter? This matters because now you have this AppGen, and when you go to the AppGen, I can create another app. By the way, you can create multiple ones. This is where you start. You start from scratch. You can add a prompt, and you can add your collection. So for example, I have a career and job location and job types collection. I can add those. And I have also components. I can add my global footer, like nav components, things like this. And I can prompt the AI to use these components throughout the app. So the app, unfortunately, this is what I don't like about, is a very separate experience, right? It's completely separated. Well, I'll show you where it's connected, but it's, for the most part, separated. You prompt it, and then it starts creating it in a sandbox, and then you can deploy it. And by the way, all of this is still in beta. And the thing is that it takes those variables, those colors and design system that you essentially have, and reflects that inside of the app. But you still have the option to go into your files. This is like your files, and presumably do a bunch of stuff. So you tell me about this, because I'm not very experienced, but it seems like I can add code.
I wish I could see the file tree more. Are there any style files in there?
Good question. So we have what is Webflow CSS, but it's something that I can't change.
Yeah, because they're defined inside of Webflow, I guess.
So we have
to add your own styles.
So yeah, where would the style live? Oh, here.
Yeah, there we go. Because I'm this is all Webflow Cloud. So previously, you can get developer to publish a React website to Webflow Cloud and bind it to your Webflow website. This is a way of not having to do it inside of Webflow Cloud, but to actually do it directly within Webflow. and this will use Astro to do it instead of Next.js.
Yes.
So if you're not familiar with Astro, you can write code, right? You can edit this code, yeah.
Yeah, here I can't edit this code because this is a footer component, and look how interesting. So if we go to covers.com, for example, and then if we go to my footer, you see here I have like this footer, and here this is like essentially my footer component that is being pulled in. So we have these side components that are all here. We have the styles, and we have a bunch of other things. Apparently we should be able to also deploy this. Well, we can only deploy it to Webflow Cloud, but we can also push it to GitHub. And I don't know what we can do there. Like, can we take it from GitHub and do something with it? This is what
presumably,
I don't know.
yeah. So what I'm understanding here, and I'll be interested to know what code gets written on components that access your CMS. But that aside, what you're seeing here is a React component of your footer. The way to achieve this in Webflow Cloud is via devlink. And the way to get your styles inside of your Webflow Cloud project is via devlink. So it's like, again, it's sort of installed, it's created an Astro project and installed devlink and pulled in those components through that devlink system. I'm hoping that makes sense, that this is basically just a Webflow Cloud project using devlink, but you've created it inside of Webflow. The fact that you can push it to Git is really, really cool, because then you could push this anywhere. You could, because it's using devlink, which doesn't need I'm assuming now doesn't need to be inside of Webflow to be able to use it. Everything should be good.
Yeah.
Any chance we can see any component that's using your CMS collections?
Well, let me show you another project, and then we see how that one is. This project,
I'm waiting for that ability inside of Webflow Cloud to be able to read from a CMS and use.
I don't have it. I don't have it in this project, unfortunately. But all of this was done with essentially one prompt. This was one prompt, and the subsequent prompts were to fix bugs and things like this. But a good friend of mine, Tim Schultz, he's making this for his client. And check it out. Like, if I reload the page, you see it has even like some animations. And again, like all of this with just prompting, but he's been doing this. He's like, he spent like 6 hours prompting this. So still everything is local. So it's on my local storage, but look at this. This looks really, really good. So he said like he was like very specific with the style and prompting and being like, do it like the Apple style. And apparently for the big part, this is like functional. So like for his client, they can look at this. This is so good. This is so freaking detailed. It's just so featured. Like, it's crazy to think like a designer, not a developer, can do this in Webflow. And this is like on his client's domain. And it's not like a subdomain or anything. It's just like on the main domain or on the Webflow domain. You can do it however you want. And look at this. This is like really good. It looks really nice, and it has a bunch of like information, and presumably a lot of these are coming from the CMS. But yeah, he's been prompting his way into this, and I find this to be very, very impressive. Like, it has even settings, and these are like set to soon. This is very professional.
Yeah, it's really good. So just a reminder, this is like was not really possible at all. It wasn't even in Webflow's wheelhouse to support app. They ignored what was the JavaScript library that was made by or bought by Wizzed. That was the only way to build like an app experience using Webflow. It's not quite the same, because obviously designers can literally design the pages inside of Webflow that later gets transformed into a web experience. This what you'd have to do is you'd get your designer to build all of the components and literally create them as components, and then you can prompt them into your app. But yeah,
it's not much different, honestly, like designing it literally on the canvas or like in the component. Well, it is different, but
you won't have that fine tune. You won't have that fine tune.
And I wish for that. And I really, really would love to see this AppGen to not be a separate thing, or like the preview to have, you know, the CSS capabilities that Webflow has, so I can click on stuff and change them, and it just changes them in the code.
But presumably, if you change the component inside of Webflow, that will just update in AppGen.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't have this component on my website, so this is completely made up, right?
Yeah, it'd be worth checking.
Kind of like, but I need to do more, and you know, testing to see that. But from what Tim has been creating, I've been very optimistic about things that can be done here.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't want to.
Look at this.
I'm very happy it's here, but it's not going to be too different from Lovable V0. All of that.
Yeah, but it's
just nice.
The thing is, yes, it's not going well. Here's the thing with Lovable has the experience to create all of this, but they don't have the, you know, the platform infrastructure what Webflow has. You know, Webflow has the CMS, the editor, the designer, the capability
they do now Lovable Cloud.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's nothing like, you know, what Webflow has with all of what you need for a marketing website. Now in Webflow you have all of the Webflow platform stuff. You have animations, you have GSAP, right? You have that amazing visual builder. On top of that, you have Lovable, essentially. With AppGen.
And just a reminder as well for people, it's like this is an Astro project. I'll have to have a look at it, but it needs to be like, the assumption here is that it's not a server-side rendered experience. It's a JavaScript powered experience. I don't know. I'll have to double check. I mean, in theory, if you upload a Next.js project to Webflow Cloud, that's a server-side rendered experience. But this, you know, this is really where the use case for this isn't so that you build a website just from vibe coding. You can totally do that. If you want to sign up to Webflow, start a new website and just vibe code the hell out of the entire thing, obviously you can do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think you'd be getting... It can be quite frustrating to vibe code a website. You don't get the fine control that you expect. Webflow's created a good compromise, though, by being able to import components that have been built in Webflow with DevLink. Great compromise there. But yeah, I think there are other... If you just wanted to vibe code an app and that was it, then I think there are better systems out there. But if you want to vibe code an app and incorporate it within a Webflow website, this is great. This is amazing.
Yeah, I really hope that they will open it up more. So
all of that. Even have it. Like,
no, not just that. Like the code, so you can do a bunch more with it. I'm not sure where the limitations are, to be honest. But knowing Webflow, they haven't been the most, you know, pro open source or something like this. Even though they have like the code export and stuff, to be fair, but yeah, we never have been able to, you know, have a back end, like access to a back end per se. Anyway,
but in theory,
did you see how cool this is? Like I added this.
It's really good.
It's amazing. I'm just so surprised. This is so good. Yeah, sorry, you were saying.
So this should use Webflow Cloud, which we covered last week. This should use that. Webflow storage, whatever, data storage. This should use that so you can access the database and things like that. I don't suppose you have access to this project.
No, this is for now all local storage, but he's going to add a bunch more. He has a full plan for this. But still, this is amazing.
I mean, presumably you can vibe code a link with sort of Supabase or Neon. I don't know how environment variables are handled through this, but they are available in Webflow Cloud. So assuming that would work. But yeah, you could use Webflow's built-in databases, or you could just say, tie this to a what do you call it? If you're going to add a feature, so can you go into the prompt thing down the bottom right and just type @ or can you reference files at all? No. Slash.
No,
Slash or anything? Yeah. So you'll really you want to be able to say update this file to do this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean?
Well, but I did. So you see, like from here, there is no UI to create a new.
So they really just want you to stay in the prompt window.
Yes. But maybe they will add it because this is very early.
Beta,
this is
right?
like beta.
Sure.
So I said I didn't know what file to add. I said just add a Kavarza.ts and add it into a folder called Kavarza, and it did. So I prompt my way into adding a file, no description provided.
How are they charging for this then? What's the pricing?
From what I understand, it's nothing for now, but I don't know because like you can't do unlimited AI, I guess. So you have to, I think you can add your own AI API to it. Yeah.
Sorry?
Your own API, like for like OpenAI or no, like for your AI, like the AI costs are. I'm not sure because I don't see it from here. But if we go to site setting, I don't know if I will be shown some. Yeah.
So here, so if you go into that web app, so this is your application, and then go into main. So these are your environments.
Yeah.
So here, these are your deployments. See, it says environment variables. Don't click on it because in case there's something, I don't know what would be in there. But next to that, you've got bindings. This is your database.
So should I show this on the stream?
Yes. Bindings. This is your databases. So this is where you would manage your databases, right?
So I can add a storage, and it says SQLite database, key value, and object storage.
Presumably, if you prompt it, it would just create these unless you told it not to use that, unless you told it to use Supabase or whatever. It would create storage in here. But this is again, hopefully it would ask you for your Supabase API key, this, that, and the other.
So this is pretty cool. You could create an actual MVP or even a potential product with this, right?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
so good.
So just a few. Now that we are talking about Webflow, very short updates. Now I got a notification that I can do design with multiple people on the canvas at the same time. So that is out. We've been talking about it, but it wasn't out for everybody. It was a slow rollout. Now I have it, but my team is not around right now to show it. That's unfortunate, but because I wanted to really show it. But yeah, whatever. And comments, apparently I can do comments and see them and see them even now. Yeah, that's really cool. So you see I'm in the design mode and I still see the comment. So the comments are, previously you had to toggle constantly and that was not really nice. Well, you press C, I guess. But now you see it all the time. So you can just be working and see the comment.
You see a comment, yeah.
Yeah. And look how cool this is. It shows what breakpoint, viewport size. It has a bunch of metadata that comes with the comment. So
was that left from within Webflow? Was that left in the staging environment?
No, I just did it now. I did it like this. Yeah. But I can share the project in a comment-only mode and share it anywhere, and then you can, By the way, Tim, the creator of the other project that I showed you, He's saying in the comments, you can add Superbase as a database, user management and storage. I have tested it and added at the end.
Yeah. Again, that's the thing with code,
it.
isn't it? You can do whatever. Like, it's impossible for a system to say, well, it's not impossible, actually. That's stupid. But like, if you can write the code, we'll get into this later on, but the code will run what you write. So if you tell it to go read from a database from Neon, object storage from S3, authentication for Superbase, it has to do it. There's no way that really Webflow can stop you doing that, which is, again, probably why they've avoided it for so long, is because it's the, what do you call it, Pandora's box almost. Once you allow people to do anything, they can't control what, you can't control what systems they use.
By the way, why is there such a huge lag when I type something here? I see things on my screen with a lag.
Probably because normally terminals in a browser tend to be quite laggy. It's because you're sending a SSH connection to a terminal. I don't think this sort of thing has the idea of like WebSockets or things like that. I think you open up DigitalOcean and try and open up a terminal session in DigitalOcean, and there is literally like a lag.
This is JavaScript, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And just so you see, like, to deploy, you see how you can change the path. This is really cool. It's it's on my domain / whatever path that I want, and then I just press deploy, and it's building the app and deploying it.
Very cool.
And I can access my variables from here as well. So it seems like maybe AppGen will be its own UI, and Webflow will port more from like the design to here.
Or it's a two-way binding, you can create, because
that's what I mean. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Nice one. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Try and steam forward. So OpenAI just dropped their most advanced model yet, and it seems to answer or bring back what's been lost for so long, which is empathy. People have been at a loss without GPT 4.0.
Will we have glazing again?
Probably. We'll see, actually. So GPT 5.1 has been released. There's two models that have been released. There's instant and there's thinking. And I think they're trying to change the terminology a little bit. We've seen thinking quite a lot as a replacement for reasoning. And instant is kind of it's a renaming of the ChatGPT model. It used to be called ChatGPT model, but 5.1 instant, 5.1 thinking. This will be the one that you mostly use. I don't know why they say our most used model when it's just been released, but hey ho, maybe they're referring to the major version as opposed to the minor. Now, warmer, more intelligent and better at following your instructions. I have a feeling this is really where it's changed. I wonder if there's much actually happening that's different in the thinking, but they just need to make sure they're both aligned and whatever. But anyway, most advanced reasoning model, now easier to understand. So it's definitely a personality thing. Someone called it, you got IQ, I think it's EQ, like emotional, intelligence.
Yeah.
Faster on simple tasks, more persistent on complex ones. So really, I think you need to know what you're doing to be able to select this one. I don't have a ChatGPT subscription, so I can't really show you. But what we can do is take a look here at the differences between GPT 5 and GPT 5.1 instant. You can definitely see this is very cold, to the point. Some people might prefer this, but off the bat, I've got you, Ron. That's totally normal. And I remember
this. Just shut up with this. I don't want AI to be confirming. I'm watching a video on this. Yeah.
The majority of people are going to want this. I quite like it. It makes it at least, I work on my own a lot. It makes it at least a little bit more thing. It's definitely going to be divisive, but I think they announced it or they previewed it or something. I think Sam Altman sent a tweet that they're tweaking the kind of customizability of your model or making that sort of front and center. Like, I think you need to tell your model, because this is going to be the majority, like, want this approach. You need to tell it to be, reduce this, remove emojis, be a bit more straight to the point, don't glaze, all that kind of lot, because you're in the minority there, right?
Yeah.
But either way, you can see it's not really tremendously longer. It's actually shorter, in fact.
Boom. Have you seen the video?
Sorry.
ChatGPT made me delusional.
No, I've got it saved.
I'm in the middle of it. We're almost done with it because it's 1 hour, but it's pretty fun. And the whole point is, like, ChatGPT and all AI is a language model that is trying to please you in a way or another. So even if they don't glaze you, it's a machine that predicts the words based on what you're inputting. And these, like, subtle changes that these companies are coming out with are essentially like changing the knobs to be like more warm or cold or friendly or like alienated or whatever, right? So from what I understand, this is just, a bit change in that sense, and it's not a revolutionary, a product or like much smarter in any way.
Sure.
And that video, I really highly suggested watching it. ChatGPT Made Me Delusional by Eddie Burbach. It's quite funny, and you get a feeling for, okay, what is ChatGPT? It kind of gives you like a very strange but like interesting perspective on what these machines are. Kind of by going with the flow of what the AI is telling him, you get a sense for, okay, are they actually smart? That's where you will ask yourself.
Yeah. We'll get into some of the kind of, certainly for me, like the question, I do, as much as I sound enthusiastic about AI, I still do challenge myself. I still do challenge my own understanding. So we'll get into that a bit later on in the show. But I do want to watch that. But at the end of the day, this is just the new version. I mean, it's not necessarily right or wrong, but this is kind of the new version of social media. Social media just wants you to engage, right? It just wants you to have that dopamine hit, want to return to the app. It's gamification in AI form, in making it, more appealing to use it, I wouldn't say that this is a new concept. It's never a new concept. You can always draw parallels with the past. All I think is that it's fine for an AI to be a bit more like this. I don't know. Everyone's going to have their own opinions. Saying that, the thinking one, it's still this hybrid model where it adapts. It's got this auto routing, which historically hasn't been so great. People really struggle with this idea, but you're putting your trust into it not overthinking. So when it just needs to answer you a simple question like how many hours in strawberry and all that kind of crap. But it's hard to really demonstrate that in this kind of stream, whether it's whether it's taking ages to think or not. The other aspect that we haven't that we've that's not in here that I think it got released today or yesterday. There's 2 new Codex models as well. There's Codex, I think it's Codex Mini and Codex Thinking or something like that. So another I use Kilo Code, and I use GPT 5 Mini for like planning and stuff like that. I'm be interested to use Codex now, 5.1 Codex for planning, because I've heard that that's quite good for just planning out your code tasks and whatever, and then executing you tend to use a lighter model. So we've hit 100 views. 99. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button. I'd love to everyone to hit that like button right now. wherever you are. Or if you're not on YouTube, scan this QR code and come join us on YouTube, where we're having lovely conversations with Tim and Lionel.
By the way, how can people scan it if they're on the
You
phone?
can take a screenshot on iPhone. You can take a screenshot, and with that screenshot, it will pick up.
Cool. I didn't know, but now I learned something.
And next week, we've been promised by StreamYard, which is the tool that we use, that we will be able to, for you Instagrammers out there, we'll have vertical. And for you, I don't know, should we do widescreen or vertical for Twitter? That's the question.
That's a good question. No, I would probably do also vertical for Twitter. It's still
pretty mobile, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, man, I went bonkers to do this with OBS, because you can do this with OBS. You can do like multi-layout streaming, but it's so freaking difficult.
No, apparently, I don't know I guess we set up different layouts, because like if we go to this layout, it's got to put us on the top, and then whatever, and then on this layout it's got to stack us, whatever. Anyway, we're getting too nerdy for our delightful viewers. But anyway, just to wrap up on the 5.1 thing, always welcoming new models. It's not going to, as you say, it's not going to be the groundbreaking model that we hope and dream of, although I will say I think a lot of people will appreciate that warmer, friendlier approach while they use AI, because some people aren't out there just trying to get work done and get on with their day. A lot of those people are using AI to interpret things and to understand their feelings and whatever. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not a big user of ChatGPT, but I will be moving on to 5.1 codecs in Kilo code just to see how the planning agent works. Cool. Anything else?
No, not really here.
Cool. Wow. Go on.
No, I just said I'll try to. I saw it in my cursor, by the way, but I'm out of my credits. I'm out of money, even though I run through my like 30 extra euro credits as well. So yeah, I'm constantly like running the auto model right now.
Well, look out for a video I'm about to release probably next week now on Tray, because I really enjoy using Tray today. It's half the price of Cursor. I know you've paid for the year, so you're screwed.
Yeah.
But Tray, I've really enjoyed using Tray. And from
can I move my project over?
Yeah, it's
like
just
open it with Tray.
Mate, you need to get out of this Webflow locked in.
Yeah, I know.
Walled garden.
No,
thing.
I thought
you're in the code world now.
Yeah, I do. So, so last week, like I didn't know like with Versal that you can't do a team on the free tier. So I moved to Versal. Like I deployed my project on Versal, and I asked my team to join as well and deploy. And then I noticed that I can't do a team on the free tier, and I wasn't like willing to pay just yet because we're still exploring stuff. So we now moved stuff to Netlify to have a team, and so we're kind of doing this, and then we are like after we build our project, we kind of like rebuild some part of it in Webflow again, which is not really the best flow, right? But yeah, that's how we are trying to build these components for our tool. But yeah,
you can use DevLink though, right?
DevLink. It's not what we want to do in this case. Like in this case, I can show it in a second. Just a teaser. Okay, so here I don't have it, so I'll just run it and just build it, and okay, run dev. Did I do it right? npm run? I typed too fast. Okay, so we have it, and yeah, so this is how I'm using Cursor right now.
Yeah,
and
using that new browser mode.
Yeah, I love it. Especially right now, I'm sharing my Mac screen. I put what you see with typically I make the chat a bit bigger. I put all of this in my big 32-inch screen and I just fully vibe. And I do a lot of like chat ask mode as well. So I literally go into the code, and I don't do the heavy stuff yet, but I do like some variable changes or something like this. I'll do it. I try to do it myself, but this project is way beyond my like scope in order, like, because you see I have like the editor, the runtime, I have like a build process, and this was given to me as a prompt by my senior developer. So he gave me a long prompt saying like, build a project like this, because before that I had it just as a one single JS file with an HTML file and just merging them. And once we build this, I ship it to Vercel or Netlify, and then everything that I have here is built in a way that works with the Webflow project. So the idea is that you have these mini tools and you can like do animations the way you want.
Yeah, well, you know, you're in the land of code now. You can move this onto Tray easily, and
that's really cool.
You're not locked in, you know.
Yeah.
And it is a VS Code fork at the end of the day, but
it is.
Yeah. So it's going to work with all of the nuances of VS Code. Yeah. Anyway, should we get on with the comments?
Yeah, let's go talk about the comments.
So this is the comments section where we take a look at what you have to say. Let us know what you think about anything you hear down in the comments, and we might just read it out. So I'm a little bit active on LinkedIn, maybe a little bit too active, some might say. Basically,
you love LinkedIn?
I don't necessarily love LinkedIn. I think it's definitely a place where to get work for as a developer, as a, you know, whatever. But you know, so just as a note, I should probably share. I have shared this. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn or whatever, I have shared this. But like everything that we say tonight will get transcribed and broken up into an individual post that I then schedule out on LinkedIn. Completely AI-driven workflow. It's incredible. So last week we spoke about PewDiePie, and it's got a lot of attention on LinkedIn. Are you gonna? It's a bit awkward, isn't it? Oh yeah, got it to stage.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of conversation around PewDiePie overall in the dev community as well. So this is interesting.
And I want some input from you guys right now, because this is something I'm trying to adjust to. So what I loved about PewDiePie's journey is not only, you know, he's obviously a very successful YouTuber and doing silly videos and gaming and stuff like that. We said all this in the last week's video, but I love this journey that he's gone on, actually becoming pretty much a developer. And what I really love is how AI has empowered him to, one, it's inspired him, but also just the age that we're in, it's so easy. We thought the internet was great, right? Having the internet in our pockets with our phone. But now with AI, we can get very bespoke learning, and we can learn new things and much quicker. And in fact, we probably could do it more. Like I'm learning a lot of songs on guitar at the moment. I've yet to pick up AI to even approach how I might do that. Maybe there's something that I don't know. I've always told you about, you know, learning, whatever. And, you know, we've got 22,000 impressions, you know, nearly 100 likes, reposts, comments. It's picked up a lot of steam. But what I'm finding is that, let's take this comment as an example from our old friend Paul here. It helps that he's a multimillionaire with time to do whatever he wants. Now, I interpret that as, and there's a lot of comments around this, that there's, you know, that's all right. All it started was a dream and a personal fortune. Because bearing in mind that the stack that PewDiePie built was like 20 grand, wasn't it? It's something crazy.
Yeah.
Really, really expensive thing. But I don't really mention that really in the post. I just sort of talk about his journey and whatever. But there's a lot of like focus on this idea of like needing cash. And I'm trying, there are a few people in here saying, you know, that they're constantly learning, what they've really enjoyed about it. Someone here is saying that they've built their own kind of LLM and doing this, that, and the other. A lot of people were inspired. It's just a few, and we've spoke about this briefly before the show. Few just seem to focus on the financial aspect, and I want to know if you've seen the video, whether that's what you got from that, like the money aspect. I want the focus to be that now is such a great time to become a developer. It's so easy, and you know the resources are out there to become an incredible developer, and it should not stop us. But so if you got, well, actually, I'll say, because it was your article, wasn't it, that you sort of brought to the show?
Yeah.
What was your
I watched the video and I was inspired. I was inspired to do more. Like I see PewDiePie doing this and I'm like, amazing. This guy, I've been watching his videos for a decade now. Legit, like, I don't know, maybe 12 years since I've been like watching his videos. And yes, sometimes less, sometimes more. And I saw like he's becoming more interested in engineering. And this is amazing. It's not just, you know, somebody liking engineering. It's somebody getting deep into something, right?
Yeah.
In this case, this is engineering and computer science. And it could be, I don't know, it could be something else. It could be anything, essentially. He had a time where he got into drawing, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I saw that, but yeah.
You saw it. He mentioned it in his video as well, but I think he had like 100 days or like weeks of drawing. So this is the thing about PewDiePie, by the way. One of the reasons he's so big, he has so many followers, is he has been changing, like getting into things and like actually giving it a try, not just, you know, liking it for a day or two, but actually trying it and sharing his experience, whether that's gaming, drawing, or at this time, development and computer science and engineering. And it's very nice to see it. And I don't think you need a crazy setup to do this. Probably most of people in the comments, they have like the minimum enough to start with something. And even if you don't have that, even if you have just like a very basic laptop, you can fire up Cursor, right? And you can start learning. Yes, you can't run your own LLM, but it doesn't matter. You can do something else. Front end, back end, any type of learning, you can do it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that's your sentiment too, because again, like I want to just empower you guys who are watching the show to be, you know, not looking for the negativity and not looking for excuses, which I feel like some of these comments are looking for excuses to like not learn. Or, you know, it wasn't the fact that he built, I mean, I was slightly inspired that he built a server, but I wasn't about to be like, oh, he can only do that because he spent 20 grand on 5, you know, I don't know what the name of the graphics card are. No, I was like, what can I do on my 5-year-old MacBook M1? And, you know, I was inspired in that way, but it's interesting that people.
And by the way, like most people who have the money that PewDiePie has don't do the things that he is doing right now. So so that's not really the point. The point is he is learning something. He doesn't have to do this, by the way. He could easily like hire people, build him an app, or, you know, build him whatever that he wants. But he's not doing it for the sake of that. He's doing it for the sake of learning and having fun with it. And that should be your takeaway. You pick something that you absolutely suck at. That's also a part of it. You absolutely suck at it, and it is going to be painful at the start, but you pick it and you stick with it and you go, you learn it. And while you advance, you will have fun with it, because you will have fun with it once you get good, once you like get something and you can make things, you will love it. You won't as long as like at the start, but just know it. That's a part of the process. Trust the process and pick it up and go learn something.
and we'll get into this again later. We are queuing up such a big chat right at the end of this show, by the way, because I've said this so many times. We're going to talk about it later on, but this is queuing. Like, I want to, let's not let our instant gratification, the instant gratification world we live in, deter us from persistence and, persistence, right? It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. And we aren't going to learn things. We aren't going to get things right straight away, but slowly but surely you start to see, oh crap, like I'm actually, and you'll be surprised. Reflect on what you've learned, reflect on where you start. Remember what you were when you started out this journey, and just reflect on that and be encouraged to get better and learn more, because now it's easier now more than ever just to kind of like start something, not get immediate results, and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. Just this stuff takes time, and especially with development, but in design, there's so much more. There's always more to learn. Just be encouraged that it's easier to learn, and don't rest on the laurels of like, just because it's easy to do something with AI, say coding, dig into the code, understand what it's doing, and that's what we'll talk about later on. But yeah. I think we've spoken about this long enough, but I just want our community to feel inspired by what is going on, rather than feel let down or discouraged, because that's what a lot of people do, and they bring a lot of negativity to some of these comments. It's like they're misinterpreting the point. And if they're gonna make excuses for not being a better version of themselves, then let them be it. Similarly, back on LinkedIn, share this tab. Only a little one, we won't dwell on this one too much. Is the Affinity post. So this is so just to touch on my post from the link from the thing, Adobe should be very, very worried. Canvas obviously offering the free version. I don't suppose you've used the free version, have you, just yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
I touched on it a little bit. It's cool. And one thing we didn't speak about, actually, that a lot of people raised in the comments, obviously a lot more positivity in the comments here, is, well, what happens when things are free, right? When the product is free, you are the product, which led me to a little bit of digging. And Affinity, and again, we don't want to be too pessimistic, but Affinity released a video specifically calling out a few things. Sorry, I'm just accidentally going to repost that. No, we don't want to do that.
We've been listening to your comments, and there is one big question that's
could you hear that, by the way?
Yeah. Let's see, because I haven't seen it either.
Okay, it's on 1.5 speed. Hopefully it'll be all right.
That's fine. That's fine.
Affinity is now free. How the hell is that even possible? It is a fair question, because for decades, professional creative software came with a hefty price tag. Subscriptions, lock-ins, paywalls, that became normal. So when we made Affinity free, some people assumed there had to be a catch. Let me be absolutely clear. There is no catch. We don't sell your data. We don't train AI features on your files. We don't monetize your creativity behind the scenes. Your work stays yours, always. So why make it free then? Because we believe every designer deserves access to tools that respect their craft. Because the industry needs a shift from gatekeeping to generosity. And because we've built a sustainable business model at Canva that allows us to support this kind of access without compromising on product quality or user trust. This isn't a marketing stunt. It is a long-term bet on creative freedom. Affinity has always stood for fairness, choice, independence, and pro-grade power. Affinity and Canva both share the mission to empower the world to design. And making Affinity free is our way of pushing that further and getting creativity into more hands in more places than ever before. Everyone with a Canva premium plan will be able to access Canva AI and other select Canva features within Affinity. But the Affinity app that you all know and love, with all of its professional grade features and updates, will be free forever. And all of this makes sense for Canva as well. When more pros use Affinity, more teams end up using Canva. Pro designers lead the visual workflow. If they build an Affinity, they're more likely to scale in Canva. And when they do, marketing, sales, and the rest of the business will follow. That is how it grows. We know trust is earned. So ask questions, kick the tires, hold us to a high standard. Because that is exactly what we would do. Affinity. For creatives, by creatives.
There you go. Cool. So just to recap, no data, no training or anything like that. Want to empower designers to do what they do best, and they are assuring us it's going to be free forever. I like that because I'm still relatively pessimistic on some things, and whilst I can see this is obviously, you're a business, right? You've got to earn money. but they do actually touch on the fact that is the business, like marketing and sales, will follow if their designers are using a tool. Do you know what I mean? Like the money will follow, and it all stems from the creatives. However, the one thing that I think that we want to remember is that and we have already spoken about this actually, so many businesses use Canva. It's crazy actually how many businesses use it. Some massive companies already use Canva. So if they can incorporate or encourage their teams to, utilize something they're already paying for, there is that. And also finally, just you are paying for those AI features on the back end, which are becoming really crucial. And they're not gimmicky AI features in these sorts of software, although it does have image generation. We're talking about content fill and cleaning up of images and things like that. We're not talking about just horrendous, nano banana changing stuff, although people will still use them, and more power to them. This is tasteful use of AI, I think. So rounding off
that's really good. That's really good. The transparency is amazing.
Yeah, and they're a British company as well. I was quite pleasantly surprised to learn they're a British company.
Cool, I didn't know.
Yeah. So we got some comments. Change to WordPress from Webflow, never look back. See, it's just one big cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I am moving off of WordPress just because whilst WordPress is free, it's the hosting that costs loads of money. Like there are much more efficient ways to run websites now, but WordPress can be a great solution for a lot of people. With very, very flexible and a lot of freedom. So more power to you. But Kin, let us know what made you move off Webflow. And then I don't know how to say that. Probably Cynthia Banks, Scythe Banks, something. We just we're about to talk about MCPs. Give them a different function. They have other benefits other than context, or use some feature. Do you know what? I don't know what you're talking about there, but we are going to talk about MCPs.
In a second. Yeah.
So I saw this video from Theo that basically says Anthropic admits that MCPs suck, and they do suck. They eat up context. They're unreliable at best. And they make your AI dumber because, again, that additional context is causing I think they call it needle in a haystack problem or something like that. People have realized it, and that it's a standard that needs reinvention. And who better to make that realization or to admit that realization than the very people who invented it, Anthropic. So, Theo made this video just kind of basically going over this article, which raises some really interesting points. It just admits to the tool calling aspect, constantly having these tool calls in context, whether you're using them or not. It's a headache, to be honest. While I'm coding, I'm turning MCPs on and off, and then I forget to turn them on and off. And it's something you just don't want to have to manage. Just a quick side note, I did learn, because I'm starting to use CodeRabbit. I'm trying to build up a bit more robust coding environment that picks up on my blind spots, allows me to be a more impactful independent programmer. I install CodeRabbit, which is an AI code reviewer, and they get you to use the CLI through Claude Code. I didn't realize that you can use CLI through Claude Code. So as another example, Taskmaster has a CLI. This is in terminal. This is boring in terminal. You type. What would you do in terminal? Do you use any CLIs that we could,
not really,
dumb down reference to? But instead of
what do you mean?
I want to simplify it.
But I'm not there yet. I don't use
well, you're in your terminal. Instead of having a GUI, having a UI.
Yeah, in my terminal, I just do git stuff with terminal.
So you've got Git installed. So you've got Git installed on your computer, and you trigger that CLI with the term Git. If you start that terminal command with Git, that's using now the CLI, and they're the arguments that follow that. I hope that makes sense there.
I didn't know that. So that makes sense, because I do Git status, right? To understand if I have pushed or not. I forget, and then I do Git add dot to add everything essentially.
And this is a great example because you can ask your AI to push. If you just say push this to Git, it will do Git commit and write a nice commit message and Git push. So I always knew it could use a CLI because it's using the Git CLI. You can use it with CodeRabbit. Similarly, I use Taskmaster, which eats up so much context. Taskmaster has a CLI, which I've got installed. So now I'm just going to remove that I have removed that MCP, and I'm going to use the CLI. That's just my own personal thing. That's nothing to do with this article, but it's a way of me now just really, realizing that MCPs just suck. Okay, I prefer to preserve context and not have to manage stuff. And have my AI not be stupid. So here is Anthropic going through the downsides. They're not going to completely tell you it's rubbish. They still keep their kind of one foot in the door with MCP. They still want you to use it. But what it does go on to say, and what I've noticed recently, actually, so it's funny how it all comes about. Because by the way, this was released, I think, on the 4th of November. Yeah, 4th of November. What I've noticed that AI is doing now is writing JavaScript files to do sort of push stuff to the database or to do certain things. So it will write its own code, and AI has always been great at writing its own code. So what Claude Code is suggesting here is and I've yet to understand how to actually do this. Do you ask Claude to create this MCP server? But ultimately, you tell it that there is the MCPs are here as files that it can use. So you can remove the MCP, and this just uses the APIs to access Google Drive instead of the Google Drive MCP. There's a bunch of files there, which files don't eat up context unless it's actually going to be using them. So then the AI will write a piece of code that imports. Actually, this is the wrong one here. It's this one. It imports the Google Drive files and then runs this bit of code. And then this is the only context that it's using, because it just runs this code and then it's gone. It's not going to be wasting up. And what they found was 150,000. This is wild, by the way. 150,000 tokens to 2,000 tokens, a time cost saving of 98%. What are you doing, Anthropic? Like, why are you still using this standard that you can, if you can rejig it just a little bit, maybe this is a skill, maybe this is something. Like 98.7% is crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
So I want to start looking into how I can incorporate what they're doing here. I'll read the article a little bit more deeply, and how I can inevitably create a file-based MCP service or whatever. If indeed Google Drive doesn't have a CLI that I can just tap into, because a CLI will just run. But ultimately, you're asking your AI just to run a bit of code. So yeah, they're admitting MCP is not so great, and there are other ways to use it. But in the summary here, somewhere, they kind of keep their foot in the door. But ultimately, yeah. MCPs, are they on their way out? I think people struggle with the concept of them. I would love it if they work, if they were more deterministic, if they would always run. I've resorted to saying, use the Taskmaster MCP to add this as a task, or use the linear MCP. It used to be that you could just lightly mention, add this task, or Figma, take the design or something like that, and it will just know to use the MCP. But it's just too hit or miss. You might as well just use the Figma MCP to get that node or whatever it is. So anyway, all that to be said, checking on the comments here. Anything to add?
No, not really. We have a comment. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I thought MCPs just talk to the same language through our apps, or that was the internet. I think what you're saying here is that it's just kind of like a layer on top of the APIs, right? You're talking about APIs here, I think. And MCPs are just a way for the AI to interact with APIs inevitably, but they always stay in the context of every single request. So each request just gets larger and larger, it kind of compounds, and your price, the cost of that thing compounds, the intelligence of that request compounds, or compounds in a negative way. Another comment here. I wonder about using MCPs as attributes for AI as needed. Well, this is the thing. You want to use them as needed, right? You don't want them just to hang around forever in the context when you don't need them. So yeah. Anything to add from your end?
Not really. I'm not really.
You don't use MCPs, huh?
No. They are. I'm not sure if they are here to stay.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, AIs are an interesting point at the moment. I think we'll get into it later on. Again, I'm queuing you guys up for a banging conversation. But yeah, the indeterministic nature is just whatever. It is quite nice that you can, again, just ask something to do something in natural language. That's great. It really is. But there needs to be a way to do it without, having to constantly, I don't know. They just don't need to be there, basically. So yeah. Let's move. We won't do Claude robots, unfortunately. We'll move past robots.
Okay.
Let's talk about what I've been chatting about this whole episode, this whole show.
Yeah.
What I've been queuing you guys up for. So this guy CJ, last month he kind of lost his love for coding because of AI. He was finding he was basically becoming a manager, which famously people just don't like to do. Become managers. He missed actually coding because he was just managing his AIs and stuff like that. So he made a vow to not code for 30 days. And he actually made this review of kind of what he's learned. And I followed this journey just because, again, like I said earlier, I'm someone who does want to keep challenging their own beliefs and see the other side and start to, question whether I'm, rightly informed on everything. I don't want to be just kind of blind to all of the shortcomings of AI.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to point out a few of the things that he learned, right? Funny enough, even though he had only done 30 days, he still found that he craved using AI for quite a few things, right? Which is interesting because you think that because he really missed actually manually coding, and he did a few, what do you call it? He did a few projects, and which really tested his, ability / inability to use AI or lack thereof of his projects. So one thing that I really like is that he talks about this cycle of AI slop being now put onto the internet. And I really don't want to see this coming, because a friend of mine sent me a video that was AI and she thought it was not AI. And I was like, sorry, that cute dog is AI. Yeah. And it made me think, if people are constantly being bombarded with AI stuff, they're just not going to use that platform. Instagram being this example. People are not going to use Instagram because it's every other post is friggin' AI. Or they need to be able to filter that stuff out. The internet, I hope, is not going to be the same thing. If everywhere we go, every website we turn to, there's just AI crap on there. There's no new information or anything like that. People are going to stop posting to the internet or stop using the internet. I really hope that's not going to be the case. Or someone needs to come out with some big filter that says no to AI stuff. Even these AI browsers, I'd hope that we could turn a thing off to say, just don't show me or don't suggest AI created content, that there's some sort
interesting
of detection. Yeah. I would love that because what he turned to is a new website that I found now called DevDocs. He's turned to using documentation above something like Stack Overflow, which traditionally we would use just because the question has already been answered somewhere on Stack Overflow, right? Stack Overflow driven development. He resorted to using DevDocs, or documentation just in general. This is just a nice way to have it. So this you can download and install actually any documentation to any sort of language, Vite, Vue, what we've got here, Webpack, all this sort of stuff. You can actually select those for offline referencing. So if you are getting into development, like being able to, and God damn it, documentation can be ugly. It's very, very difficult to sort of pick apart. But saying that, this combined with something like, oh, you can't see it. I've got a comment open here with my AI assistant. I actually wanted to create an MCP wrapper for this website. I don't know whether it's possible to do that, but yeah, some way to be able to reference documentation or bring that in, because I have MCPs for documentation. So long story short is he found a lot of answers to actually understand what's actually happening by reading the documentation. So that was a nice little insight. He also found that the human aspect to defining the infrastructure of applications was something he used to just throw to AI. I'm still at that level. It's kind of weird because I kind of understand how applications are put together. And I think that's what makes me a good developer in the age of AI, is that I can trust that the AI can do the what do you call it? The manual stuff, but I'm there happily overseeing it and making sure that everything's roughly done in the right way. But to define and design, like the architecture to your app, your thing, right? You had a developer put that in a prompt, but they were there to think about how you would architect this project, that sort of stuff.
And the AI didn't do it, by the way.
No, I know you didn't do it, but
yeah.
Oh, what, you didn't use that prompt?
No, I used the prompt, and the prompt had like exact steps and like an exact structure, and the AI did like 80% of the things as it was told to, and the rest just blew it. It didn't do it correctly.
Wow. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you can, I would have exactly right. I probably would have just given you a boilerplate, and that's enough for it to, like, there's plenty of boilerplates out there.
Yeah, the amount of like prompts that I go through to get things done, and I change stuff. Sometimes I just add features and then remove them, and because I don't do it in a, let's say, sustainable way, it gets really busy very fast. Because I'm building like MVPs essentially, not very clean.
So I mean that was that. It's interesting to see his journey. There is still, he's a hardcore coder. There is still a time and a place for coding. But then I saw another video, and we're not going to go through all of this video, but this is a Cold Fusion video we've mentioned a few times on the show. This was a video just released this week, and it talks about the kind of, are we really ready for AI? It used to be called vibe coding, but they must have updated the title or something. But just reading about this, it's kind of like a semi-sponsored, Lovable sponsored this video, and I don't care who you are. If someone gives you money, you are going to be slightly biased to that person. He does say they don't have any input, blah, blah, blah. But you are going to be slightly biased. I'm sorry, but that's just the way the brain works. Anyway, obviously you're seeing a lot of Lovable stuff here. This is still Lovable stuff. This was created in Lovable. This was created in Lovable. A lot of Lovable stuff. So anyway, again, just kind of, he even mentioned CJ's video too, actually. So it kind of
Yes, he did. I watched this video as well. So the whole video is sponsored by Lovable, but the video is basically showing how unreliable AI is. This is my take from the video, that yes, you can build a prototype. Yes, you can do a bunch of stuff that you couldn't do before. But now if you want that polish and you want the things to work properly, very often AI can't get you that far. And this is kind of like a starting point. And AI is not going anywhere, and we're not going to use it less. We will certainly use it a lot more. But I think what needs to be settled down, and we need to kind of like get there and understand that it's non-deterministic. It's not really as reliable as these companies are trying to say, and it still requires an actual expert who knows what the hell is going on in order to create something proper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And on top of obviously saying, go watch these videos for yourself and, come to your own conclusion, it's left me in a really interesting point, because CJ mentioned something which is, and you've just said it as well, is the undeterministic nature of AI. And coding is the most deterministic thing you could probably ever do. It will not do anything that you don't write. Any bug that's in the code, you can't blame the code. You can only blame, you can't blame the execution. You can only blame the code that you yourself have written. It is so determined. So you've got this massive dichotomy now of like, well, I'm trying to create something that has to be deterministic, that has to do exactly as I tell it to, using a tool that you can write the same prompt and it's different every time. And this is something that's really affected me the last week or so, or half a week, and that I love doing this. I'm trying to, again, like you say, it's here to stay, but I'm trying to figure out where this will rest. Where's the final resting place for AI driven development? Or have I exhausted all of my options when it comes to AI driven development? And that's why I picked up CodeRabbit. That's why I've tried Tray. I'm trying to, and one thing that I want to share is I think we need to, it goes back to what I was saying about not being lazy and just, just because AI is writing it doesn't mean you shouldn't delve into the code. I really don't want to get sucked into moving fast and building things and using all the extra time that I've now saved to just build more features. Like it's very easy to get in that rut of just like, well, now that's taken me 3 minutes. Let's move on to the next feature. I'm really trying to utilize the extra time to make sure my my system is set up as best as it can. So again, setting up rules, setting up MCPs, although I'm moving off of those now, having CodeRabbit run and all this kind of stuff. I'm feeling a bit fatigued, I'm feeling a bit frustrated with the indeterministic nature, and I'm trying to make it as deterministic as possible within reason. But I think we're going to really struggle coding is going to really struggle if they don't sort out. I would argue the indeterministic nature of AI is worse than hallucinations. I'm just going to say it. Like, I honestly think that hallucinations can kind of humans hallucinate, right? They have a problem, but at least what they write or whatever, what they say goes. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how they're going to sort that out, to be honest, right? But this is kind of where I'm landing on with the AI stuff. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to try and get better, but it's just like further understanding where AI is going to stop, Not a coder or innovator. We got a question here. Would you guys recommend I knock out MVPs then hire a dev to clean it up? I don't vibe code. Yeah, I mean, like at very least to have fun. Do you know what I mean? Just to understand what the limitations are of vibe coding and stuff. Unless you never want to be a developer, unless you have no interest in doing all that, then just hire someone. But if you are interested, follow the curiosity and then vibe code something and see where you get to. But there will be things, if you have no idea, if you don't code, there will be absolutely things in that code base that cannot go live because you're at risk of leaking people's data, getting hacked. Do you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's all I'd say. Any thoughts? There's a long rant. I told you it was gonna be a long rant.
Yeah. No, I think my stance are here clear. Just I don't think like coding is going away, and there is an nearly infinite amount of code to be written and software to be created and problems to be solved. So I would say go out there, use AI to learn. this is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm doing it myself.
Learning is the best thing you can do with AI. I think the best thing you can do with AI and code, obviously.
Yeah.
Learning is great. Do we have time for this last one?
Yeah, let's do this last one. I think it's not a necessarily long one. It's
cool. Apple Intro. Are you going to take us through it, or shall I put it?
No, you can put it. You have the.
I don't think I even.
You do.
So, have you guys seen the new Apple TV intro? Sorry, I hate the indeterministic nature of Notion.
Oh,
sometimes you can right click, sometimes you can't. So this is the new Apple intro. Oh, hang on, got it. This is the new Apple intro. Looks kind of cool. Quite easy.
Really
You can
nice.
probably knock that out in half a day, right? That's not Apple. That ain't Apple. They made this. This is practical. What they call practical effects. This was actually done. Now, I don't actually have the behind the scenes on any of this. Do you have the behind the scenes of how they did it?
No, but I will search it up. Apple BTS.
Well, it's basically a load of glass panels, colored glass panels, and a lighting setup.
Yes, so I found it, and here I'm adding it as the last link. Yeah, it's in the last link. Oh, should I share my screen? Yeah.
No, okay.
Let's do. Yeah, that's fine. So this is what I found on the internet, and we'll talk about this. So
I can't hear it, by the way. Should I share my thing?
It's just background music. There is nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
so it's
look, how cool is this?
So it's just using. Oh, okay, yeah.
So they are doing multiple layers, and they are editing those obviously on top of one another.
Got it. So it's one sheet. They're lighting it differently, and then editing all of that together. It's not like multiple.
Exactly. So there is a lot of editing going on, and some people here will get into it, think that why not do it in 3D? Why not do it with completely like with After Effects? Because you could do it with any of these tools, and you could try to do it with AI, but doing it practically is different. Like it adds that layer of depth and that like details that you can add and that control that you can have that you can't do otherwise. I guess with 3D, doing it with something like Blender, you could set up an environment and create it, but I do think like the actual creativity comes together when you do something like this practically with real people, and this is all about the creativity to me. Now, does this remind you of another logo that was created practically?
Well, just before we move on, I think also, without being too, again, pessimistic about it, it also gives you this behind the scenes footage that you can talk about. And in the age of AI, where everything is just created with a single prompt, there's no there's none of this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That you can talk about it. You can show. I mean, it's refreshing. There's this. It's more about this. It's more about the human connection, storytelling, than the actual intro itself. Do you know what I mean? So that's all I'll say there is that it's for the behind the scenes, but that's an emotional, intentional decision. Otherwise, they wouldn't film the behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I want to show something very much along the lines. Have you seen the Microsoft Windows logo?
Yes, I do know. Yeah, the background.
Yes. So a lot of people might have thought that this was also CGI. No, this is completely practical. So they have these, I don't know, windows or glasses, and they project light, but they do so many different things. And here you can even see probably they are doing some sort of like 3D stuff, maybe even. But the actual thing is happening in real.
That's cool.
And then they introduce actual lasers and actual smoke, and the smoke and the lasers and like the light, and imagine layerings. It's
crazy how they ended up, because the default background is none of this interesting stuff, right? It's just the boring thing. But also, how can we see? There it is.
Yeah, this is the final one. So this is an actual picture. And this is really, really, really cool. So Apple did this behind the scene, and I had to make it about Framer again, but the guy who works at Framer and he makes videos for Framer. Let me open up what he posted. He posted this, and this is mostly trolling a bit and having fun with it. But he remade the same thing with LOL, and with AI. So this is
AI, is it?
Yeah, obviously he literally taking the Apple video. Look, this is like even the. Let's even compare
it now. So he must have put in that thing for training data then.
It looks it's not like this similar. It's the same. Look,
but I think there's probably a lot of work that went into this. Did Andy create it behind the scenes? Because again, people don't appreciate when something is AI slop versus when something is created with.
Well, this is my point. This is AI slop to me, because this is literally taking somebody else's work, right, and saying like change it to change the Apple logo to something else, to change it to whatever. Well, he did LOL to make fun of it, but how can
what's his joke?
Okay, so here he says, you can read this until I find the other link.
It feels like this one might break containment. So I'll just say this about a few things. How easily people are influenced by a narrative, fetishization of real, given the amount of VFX needed to actually get the result. So he's just saying, why are we still doing this and why are we hanging on to this? But,
Yeah, and he's also saying like why people care about the real. And to me, it's about effort. We've been saying this for a long time.
All I'll say, I don't want to get too deep here, to Andy, if you'll ever watch this. All I'll say is my history with Webflow is not so pretty. I got addicted to being controversial to Webflow for little to no reason, right? It got views. I was like, okay, well, and in fact, people found that refreshing about my honesty, because I would look at that pessimistic side. All I'll say to Andy is don't fall in love with the controversy. Like, the world is a much better place, needs better, more positivity in it. We don't need negativity. Everyone's different.
Yeah, the thing is, like, your stance was a stance of like honesty. You were honest about Webflow and you kind of pushed it towards the limits, right? The way you said, you weren't lying. It was just the way you said it. It was harsh. That's why you went viral. The Webflow shit comments. Anyway, this to me is a bit different. I'm not offended by this, but I don't like it. That's how I see it. And this person, I don't know who he is, but he made this comment, and I kind of agree with this. So he says, "Congrats, you have literally point blank proven that AI steals human work. You couldn't conceptualize this on your own." Well, I'm not like necessarily agreeing with this, but he didn't in this case, and he didn't conceptualize this on his own. Someone else created and executed the project just for you to download the video, feed into an AI video generator, and type change the Apple logo to LOL. They pay yourself then pay yourself on the back like you had any skill involved and creating the final product.
He meant pat himself on the back. Like,
pat, yeah.
Go me.
Pat, yes. Pat yourself on the back. He's essentially saying this is stolen work. There is no creativity in it. And this is a bit mocking the actual effort that went into the actual work. So my question is, what side are you people are on? Should you just use AI to copy something and get inspiration, or copy something, or like go through the actual process, like creative process of creating something from scratch? This is probably like, not this, but the one from the one from Apple is inspired by something else. I mean, we have the Windows version from a decade ago, right? This is literally from 10 years ago, right? So all of these are compounding. That's the AI.
I mean, all I'll say, and this probably you never thought would leave my mouth, but all I'd say, I think what Andy has done is art, right? He's making a statement on fetishization of real. I don't agree with his, like, why is that wrong? Why is that such a big deal? Why is it such a detriment on our, you know, to love real things? Because you can love digital and real, you know, both can be the same, right? Just because people express a distaste for this specific implementation of something that's real and how great that it is real doesn't mean that they can't love AI and love what AI is capable of. So what Andy has done, he's making a statement here. It's less about the LOL and the actual implementation. So I will commend that aspect, but yeah, I don't know whether I go back to me saying don't fall in love with the controversy statement. I don't know whether his motivations for feeling this way are driven by his desire to cause controversy and you know,
we don't know that,
but he's entitled to do whatever he wants, you know what I mean? As with everyone, like, it's not too upset about it. I just, if his art is not something that I agree with, and that's why art is put out there, right? To disagree and to form your own conclusions and this, that, and the other. Anyway,
art is an expression of how human feel, and if he feels about it this way, by that definition, it is art. But to me, I still care about the effort that goes into things, and I think most people do. That's why most people don't like AI. So
yeah. Well, that's all we have time for. So make sure you follow us on Instagram and YouTube. That's @CommandAI Show. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And join us next week for all the news in AI design and dev. I've been Sam.
And I've been Kabarza.
Keep on vibing.
Peace out.